Hey guys, welcome back. I've got a really special episode. It was a complete honor to interview Cung Lee. He was so generous with his time, opened up about his career, his beginnings. So without any further delay, I hope you guys enjoy the segment. Your first experience with martial arts, can you talk about that?
Yeah, my first experience with martial arts was I was getting bullied a lot in elementary school, and I was still immigrant at the time. I came over here, after the fall of Saigon, after 3 refugee camps. I told everyone it was 2 refugee camp, but I realized that by the time I got here to America, I had to stay at another refugee camp here before we got a sponsor. So
Wow.
it was 3 refugee camps. Then I started school, and then within a couple of years, when the kids are older and they, that's when the bullying started. So my mom put me into martial arts.
Wow.
That's when the martial arts started.
What did you start in, Cung?
I started in Taekwondo.
Okay.
And eventually I went over to traditional Vietnamese Kung Fu. And I did a little mixture, and then just started wrestling in junior high, and then got back to it after junior college. So, I was just all over the place, especially with, with martial arts and then wrestling and stuff like that.
Well, it's no surprise about the Taekwondo background, because you had some of the best kicks in MMA. Just absolutely amazing. And wrestling's such a huge base, as you know. That must have helped you in the San Shao. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes. San Shou or Sanda, it's the art of Chinese style full contact fighting. Usually when you're an amateur, you fight off of a raised platform, and then when you become pro, you fight inside the ring.
Wow. Yeah. And that, just like Fedor with Sambo, that must have really helped you with your transition to MMA also.
I believe just from wrestling to kickboxing to Sanda, and just, being a good athlete and always training hard and, putting in the work, helped me transition into MMA. It was a good transition. Plus, I also had good coaches and a good mindset, and of course, faith in the Lord.
Absolutely. So Cung, how did you actually wind up having your first fight and like competing for like a living?
I was paying to go to all the tournaments just to make the U.S. Sancho team for the U.S. team, and then after 3 world championships, I figure I better start teaching, or I'll find something I can fight and make a little money. And I from having a lot of amateur fights, my first I went to a tournament, and there was $1,000 cash prize. I had to fight 3 fights, and then I got in the finals and I knocked out the guy.
Wow.
And then I went to the U.S. Open, and then they had a grand champion, so I fought 2 weight divisions and then won that, got $1,000.
That's
and
wild.
then, just from that, I figure I'd start looking around for tournaments that paid money, which there wasn't much. So eventually, after the world championship, it came back, and then there was a Shidokan, which was out of Chicago, and then the grand prize was $5,000. In my first Shidokan, I actually lost the semifinal, and then my second, the following year, I won the whole tournament. And, after I won $5,000, that's the most I made, and right away, within 3 weeks, I got invited to fight for this Russian promotion, Draka, which is kind of like, it's just like stand-up, but more like sambo throws with punching, kicking. It's almost the same rules, but inside a ring. And they gave me $10,000 for the first fight, and I was like, wow, this is great. So
wow, that's good money.
Yeah, back in the day,
Yeah.
So I fought 2 fights with them, and then then I met Scott Coker, and he signed me to Strikeforce deal, and the rest is history.
One of my favorite fights with you is your fight against Frank Shamrock. Cung, so when you were growing up, did you like envision yourself like fighting for a living or being a martial artist? Was that always kind of in you, or did you want to do something else?
When I was younger, I just loved martial arts. I trained, and I just figure it's gonna take me somewhere. Maybe the movies, maybe a fight career. I don't know. I kind of like put it in God's hands, and and looking back at everything that happened, it happened for a reason, and it's not like my plan. It's actually God's plan. So,
yeah.
I wish I could have done more in the fight game, but right now I'm fighting for all the fighters.
Yeah.
Class action. So this is my journey.
Yeah, well, Cung, I mean, I think you kind of like a little bit downplay your career. You're a fighting legend, in my opinion. You've had like an amazing storied career in martial arts. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. You just had like this pull, in that direction, and this gut feeling. That's really amazing. You kind of touched on this, but so you were pretty much like a natural athlete, and you kind of took to martial arts well.
I got all glory goes to God, and I was blessed with maybe when I was younger I ran away from the bullies, and it was hard to catch me. So I guess my athletic abilities spun off from there. But
yeah,
I just had I had lunch with Scott Coker about 2.5 weeks ago, and Scott actually mentioned you just said downplayed my career. I'm only good as what I did yesterday, right? And right now I'm fighting for all the new and the present, and even some of the past athletes. The class action representing 1,200 fighters. But what Scott Coker told me 2.5 weeks ago, which kind of made me feel really well. He thought, there's a lot of great MMA fighters now, but if you look at your career, you went from Taekwondo, from point fighting, to Shidokan, to Draka, to Sanda, to representing the U.S. at the World Championship, to coaching the U.S. national team, to turning pro, and fighting eventually with Strikeforce, and crossed over to MMA. But in every single fight platform, I was the champion. So he's what a great career! What an amazing career!
Absolutely,
Cung. I really didn't think about all the things I done. I just thought about what I did last week. Kind of like my loss against Michael Bisping, which was a lot of people came to me, man, that was epic. You went out on your shield. No fighter wants to lose, but think about it. Yeah, you gotta almost kill me in order to to beat me. So,
right.
And it was a great journey, and right now got a different journey, and I accept it. Like I said, it's not my plan; it's God's plan.
Yeah, Cung, you're absolutely a warrior, and like I said, it's an honor to talk to you. You have a warrior spirit. I think you're a true martial artist. I know millions of people think that. And losing to Bisping, there's no shame in that. He's like a Hall of Famer, and yeah, you definitely showed your warrior spirit in that fight. As far as the lawsuit, Cung, I don't want you to get into too much detail. I'm sure you can't, but for the people listening that don't really know about it, can you touch on something about that? Does it have to do with fighters' pay?
Well, it has a lot more than just the fighter pay, right? it's a class action. Me and a handful of other fighters like John Fitch, Nate, Nate the Great, Brandon Vera. I mean, even like it's just and of course our lawyers from Eric Kramer to Rob Macy to all the lawyers that represent all these athletes. It's, like I said, when one promotion corners the market, buys out WEC, buys out Pride, eventually buys out Strikeforce, and they're able to corner the market even on apparel and put a lot of apparel companies out of business. And then when they lock down sponsors that other fighters depend on, because if some fighters are able to make more sponsorship than what their purse is, and you take that away, that hurts a lot of fighters.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it also hurts a lot of companies. And who really benefits from that big sponsor? Not the fighters. Sure, the fighters get paid something, but compared to what they can make,
Right.
I left before all that happened. I already knew that the Reebok deal was already about to be in effect. And I just I sat down with Rob and listened to like everything that they had to, tell me, like actually, Rampage brought me in first, and then the group of fighters that stuck with it, we just said, hey, we're either in or we're out, are we going to fight for all the fighters? Because in the end, it can be a lot of time, it could be years, and are we willing to make that sacrifice? Because it only really goes back to what you've done during the time you were with the UFC, right? So, but for me, because I have 3 boys, and right now Anthony, who wants to be a fighter, he's my middle son. We're driving now for him to wrestle at the cadet state championship, which is like freshmen only, maybe a couple sophomores depending on when they were born. And then he spars, he does everything. So
awesome.
I don't want him to get stuck with the same contract as everyone else, and also they own your likeness. They dictate, and they have their own rankings. How is that? And then now back when we first started, there was like no room to negotiate. Where do you go? Nowhere, And right now, even in one league, Bellator, it's like the 400-pound gorilla versus like the little chimpanzee. Like, there's still really no comparison, because the amount of money that UFC is making and the amount of money that they're keeping for themselves, is that fair? Look at boxing, I mean, there's up and coming boxers, but a lot of them, the boxers that are doing, like our journeymen they're making, 6 figures, as much as some of our champions. Right. In the MMA world, So there's really no comparison. It's they're in the 80-85% takes, and then the rest is the fighters. That if it wasn't for the fighters, there's no there's no show. No one's gonna go watch the promoters promote.
Right.
So the fighters are the product.
Right.
They should be taken care of.
No, I agree with you, Kung, 100%. And it's like you guys are not playing basketball out there. You guys get permanently injured. You could die. So, they should be paid the max amount of money. I 100% agree with you. And the Reebok deal so many people were unhappy with that. It's just crazy. But,
and here, I, since I've been in it, in this lawsuit so long, there's going to be a lot of fans, or even some other people, or even the top exec of UFC themselves. Well, it was you made your own choice. Well, what else are we going to do?
Yeah.
Love the fight. What are we going to do? How are we going to negotiate? But with fair market.
Right.
All the act to from boxing MMA, it's a different game. Now Mark Cuban can get back in the game. Now all these different billionaires can get in without having to get blocked by UFC. That now Bellator can make offers. And just imagine some great matchup from Bellator versus the UFC.
Absolutely,
And
yeah.
like a lot of people don't realize. Look at all the great champions that came from Strikeforce, WEC, like even Pride. Look how many they took when they put all these companies out of business.
Yeah.
And if you really look at it, myself included, I headlined two big events in China for UFC. I wasn't just a coach in part of the Tough Show. I was doing what Dana White would do.
Yeah, you're like an ambassador.
Yeah, the ambassador, but at the same time, I had to coach both teams. And then after that, I had to go on this crazy 10-day tour to promote the TV show. On top of that, their fight again in Macau. So knowing that who was the big draw, they had Dong Young Kim and a talented fighter from England.
Yeah.
What headlined that card? I did the Q&A, and I actually even did an open workout over there, and still, because they headlined the event, I heard that they didn't sell more than 6,000 or 7,000 seats, and like when I fought, in Macau, both shows were sold out, and against Michael Bisping, I believe they turned away 4,000 seats. So, and even against Rich Franklin, we had a standing room. They had to open up a standing room so they can sell more tickets.
Yeah.
So, and then also, first bid that came in to buy the UFC was a Chinese investor. How did he know about that? It's all in part with the team that was out there in China promoting it, and me, being the face of the China branch, the Asian branch.
Right.
And they that investor put a bid for $4 billion. That's what I believe. I believe our efforts out there made that happen. No fighters benefited from that.
Yeah. Wow, Kung. So overall, like you just feel like you just were not compensated properly for all the work you put in.
Look, I was compensated a lot more than a lot of fighters, but for the amount of work that I had to put in and everything that I did for the UFC, oh no, it's like, it's like pennies on the dollars.
Yeah. Wow. Switching gears like a little bit, Kung. Would you mind talking about your greatest win or accomplishment in your opinion in your career?
Well, I got to say my first title fight for Strikeforce, fighting a legend like Frank Shamrock.
Yep.
Who was at the time undefeated in UFC, left, because, he had a fallout with, Dana White. And that fight was, definitely one of my greatest accomplishments in my career. Next to beating, representing the USA team, fighting at a pro bout against USA versus China in Sanda, and beating the King of Sanda at the time. So two top of the list for me.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Kung. Just a few more questions, Kung. I know you're super busy. So are you a fan of anyone out there right now in MMA? Someone that you enjoy like watching compete?
I'm a fan of all the fighters that put their hearts and whether they win or they lose. And sorry about that.
That's okay, Kung.
I'm a fan of any fighters that go out there and put their lives on the line and fight to the bitter end.
Mm-hmm.
They bleed and they sweat and they give all of themselves for that fight.
Mm-hmm.
That's who I'm a fan of. I watch the fight, and after I become their fan.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kung, I agree with you. Anybody that steps in that cage deserves like so much respect. You know, one of my pet peeves is when I see like fans disparaging fighters and making bad comments, and it's insane because like walking down that ramp, I mean, it takes so much to make it to the cage. You know, it's like people have no idea the grueling training, and yeah, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, you know, some fans, a lot of fans, they're pretty respectful, but then there are the ones that are disrespectful and
Mm-hmm.
you know, they talk like they've done it themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Those
Mm-hmm.
are the fans that, you know, you just gotta not pay any attention to.
Right.
So, you know, so they don't get any more like eyeballs onto their comments,
Mm-hmm.
right? You just ignore them, and by ignoring them, they get no, you know, no strength, no power.
Yep, totally agree. And it's sad because I remember the fighters used to interact a lot more with fans online, but that stopped because of the negativity, you know.
Yeah, I still interact a lot with the fans that are, you know, that are cool.
Mm-hmm,
you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I see that online. So last question, Kung. You've been so gracious with your time. Thank you so much. It's been an honor. So what gets the fire in you these days? Is it like new acting challenges, or is it like this battle for the fighters, the lawsuit? That's probably number one, right?
You know what? Every day that I wake up, I'm blessed with a new day, and that gives me the fire to accomplish as much as I could every single day. There's a lot of things to do and accomplish before, you know, I close my eyes and rest and then wake up for the next day. So
Mm-hmm.
every day is a new day. Every day is a new blessing.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you, Kung. Thank you for sharing that wisdom. I feel the same way. Every day I wake up, I'm blessed to be alive. I don't have much complaints. But
Yeah.
Kung, that was my last question. I know you're about to reach your destination soon. I just want to say it's such an honor. Thank you so much for taking the time off for me. Good luck to your son with the tournament. And
Thank you.
Thank you so much again.
All right. Thank you.
All right, Kung. Have a great day, okay?
You too.
Take care.